story of how John Winchester met Mary Campbell. How looking for their fathers brought them together.
When I got back from Nam, my dad just disappeared, like vanished.
So, Supernatural, the TV series, has now got a spin-off prequel series called The Winchesters. I know I'm a week late with this, but I did watch episode 1 and I'm going to share my thoughts on it. So, let's have a look at whether this series is worth a visit or not.
Your dad was hunting demons.
From hell.
I have like a million questions. What is this place?
Now, I very much enjoyed Supernatural, but I still haven't reached the end of it. Sorry about that with the camera there. I still haven't reached the end of it. I felt that, 15 years is a very long time for a TV series to run very long, excessively so. And I've attempted it several times, but just never got to the end of it. I feel that seasons 1 to 5, season 5 was the original end for the show, and it shows in the story structure, the themes and all this sort of a thing, and it ends with this fight between heaven and hell and all this sort of stuff. So it kind of reaches a sort of logical conclusion point at that juncture for me. That being said, it went on for another 10 years, and I have seen a lot of and there's a lot of fun to be had with it, and the characters of Dean and Sam Winchester were fantastic. A lot of the support cast were brilliant. Yeah, it was a good series, but I've yet to get to the end, like I said. Now, we've got The Winchesters. Now, The Winchesters is a series, a prequel series, that tells the story, the love story of Mary and John, who are the parents of Sam and Dean. And this is a lost chapter of their life. Now, there was flashback episodes done to these characters in Supernatural itself, and I can honestly not say whether this series is contradictory to what we've seen there or not, because it's been some time since I have seen there, but I'm probably leaning towards a bit of contradictory stuff being done here to what we learned there. I'm unsure. Now, this show is produced by Jensen Ackles, who does do a bookend voiceover for the series. He gives a little bit of narration at the start of this episode. He gives a little narration at the end, and you actually see Dean himself and his infamous vehicle and driving off down the road. I suspect moving on, we probably won't see much of Dean. It will just be voiceovers at the beginning and end. So this here pilot episode, just simply called Pilot, it starts on March the 23rd of 1972, and John Winchester has come home from Vietnam. He's just returned home to find his missing father. To find his missing father. That makes no sense. He comes home and finds out that his father is missing. He goes and sees his mother, but at the same time he bumps into Mary, played by Meg Donnelly. Mary, who will soon to become his wife at some point down the line, and they both fight demons together, both are demon hunters. On their journey throughout this episode, we are introduced to other characters. A young hunter in training, played by Nina Kershid. Jojo Pfeiffer plays Carlos Cervantes, who's a confident fighter, a bit more experience with him, and we're introduced to Demetria McKinney as Ada Monroe, who plays a bookstore owner and a fan of the occult. So this series here is setting up 5 cast members as opposed to 2 in the original series. Yes, I know there's a whole bunch of reoccurring cast to help them through it. So what happens here is, like I said, John and Mary, they meet up, and John starts hunting for his father. He has a letter from him that takes him to a certain address, but puts him in sights of a demon, and Mary comes along and saves him. And he then starts joining her on these hunts to find out what's happened to his father. And lo and behold, her father is missing also. John comes to find out that his father is actually dead, but he was a part of this secret society of people called the Man of Letters, who were a group of people that were involved with demons and stopping demons from invading our realm, shall we say. And by the end of the episode, all this team of individuals join together. The character of Ada Monroe, she's introduced through way of being possessed, through possession, but she joins the team at the end. And there we go, we're left with them going off on their next journey, and we're given a bit of information by Dean that this Men of Letters club group of people will stop in a massive big invasion, but obviously this is unbeknownst to the characters on the ground, the main stars of the show. This is just from Jensen Ackles, Dean Winchester's perspective, talking back on it. And there we go. So like I said, I'm a week late to this, not without reason, in that I was unsure. I knew it would have been on, but then I thought I had nothing to watch. I thought, let's give it a go. So my initial thoughts on it is that it jumped very quickly into the narrative action of the show without really giving you too much setup of the characters. I may have liked a bit more of a slower paced first episode, introducing the characters more so, as opposed to throwing them into demon stuff literally 5 minutes into the episode. So it felt very forced and rushed in that sense. I felt that the Meg Donnelly, who plays Mary, was very good in the role, very watchable, but I'm unsure on Drake Rogers as John Winchester. He may grow on me. There is potential within the rest of the team, but I do feel that I don't know whether the show is attempting to do a sort of Team Knight Rider style thing, in that let's have a bigger cast of hunters, and is that because they want to change it up from the original setting of the show, the 2 leads, or do they not have faith in 2 characters being able to carry the narrative all the way through? There's that side of it, so that will remain to be seen.
Come on, rookie, learn something.
This show is produced by Jensen Ackles himself, hence his involvement within it, and his wife actually produces also, and I believe she did star in a few episodes of Supernatural, if I'm not mistaken. That's just somewhere in my mind. But as an episode goes, it was okay. It had enough intrigue and interest to have me returning for the second episode, which I will do and review later. But do we need a prequel series? Because the other side of it is that Supernatural ran for so long, and for 15 years, that the stories here could obviously be stories that are implemented in Supernatural itself, had Sam and Dean carried on their story, had them 2 characters continued. But obviously as the series progresses and as 2 leads of a show, they become more expensive. So let's finish that and let's continue it in a prequel series, giving us the same thing. And the fear of that is that this show has now got to go over the top and give us events and demon events that are going to be far greater and far more, potentially far more impacting than the sort of stuff that we saw in Supernatural itself. So it's kind of sort of got to up the ante. So if you were to watch them in a chronological order, you're probably going to end up having stuff here in this series which is masses the stuff that would be in Supernatural itself, and you'd think, and watching it chronologically, you'd think, hold on a minute, you know, they were dealing with far more dangerous stuff in Winchester than what they seem to be dealing here in Supernatural, and that's just the fact that this has come after and they've got to up the ante, so to speak. So there's that element to it as well, but that's all nitpicking. It's very nitpicky stuff that I'm saying here, because I'm not a person that's visiting it in that order. I'm here when Supernatural first came about and used to watch it when it first came about, albeit, like I said, I didn't get to the end. So I know that it's just a storytelling trope that's driving this, would drive this sort of thing at the moment, that need for bigger, more spectacle type of things. The effects were good in the show, and I'll be interested to see where it goes. Yeah, that's it. So I'll see you on the next one. Let me know your thoughts if you've watched this. Your thoughts down below. Leave a comment, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next one, which will be very soon. It'll be today. See you later. Take care all. Goodbye.
There's a whole other world out there, a dangerous world.
It's okay to be nervous.